Hi, welcome to the exercise on UX, or let's say we'll call it um, probably preparation of a tech document where what we're trying to convey to the tech team is what needs to be developed and how. Okay, let's get into the exercise. So part one, a visual reference and requirements guide for tech development. This is the expected outcome of this exercise. So you want to learn, you want to make sure that you have better UX patterns in your app. So how are you going to do this? So first of all, identify your critical features. We've already done this exercise. You can, so for example, sign up for account, add items to favorites, complete checkout, track order status, contact customer support, share content with friends, customize user preference. Suppose these are my top 12 features, right? So I'm going to list those down. You already have this from your last exercise where you prioritize features. Now what you're going to do is, I gave you some idea of this in the last module. You're going to select reference apps, right? Any screen that you've imagined or is part of these features, 99% chance it already exists in the popular apps that we all use on a day-to-day basis, right? We just need to reach to those apps and those screens and just put them together. But criteria for app selection should be that you have over 1 million active users in these apps. A lot of times what I've seen is, because we used to work in this field, people used to give us references of apps which were hardly used, but they somehow discovered those apps. And we could see that these screens don't work, the UIs don't work. And there was no clear validation whether these screens would work in my customer's product or not. So we always recommend use and refer to apps for design when you know that they're being used by at least a million people. If not active users, the usage is, all the downloads are 1 million plus. So you can check app stores and you can check downloads and ratings and only refer to those apps for your documents, right? They should be well-known apps in categories like social media, e-commerce, productivity, entertainment, or finance, right? Choose apps you're somewhat familiar with for easier analysis. So choose apps that you use for on a regular basis. 80%, 90% of screens will just come from there. There's only 10-20% of screens that need innovation in any product for that matter. Some recommended apps: Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn for social, Amazon, Shopify, Etsy for e-commerce, Spotify, Netflix for entertainment, Gmail, Slack, Notion, productivity, banking apps, PayPal, PhonePe for finance. Now, like I said, what you could do is you could create a document where you could map a feature. Now, what is feature mapping? You could take a screenshot. Let's say I have a feature, sign up for account, right? Now, any of these apps will have this feature. All of these apps will have this feature. Whichever one you feel was the easiest, you pick up that screenshot and you put it in the document. So you pick up screenshots from 2-3 apps. If that feature is very popular or simple, just to see, what are these 2-3 apps treating this feature, in what way they are treating this feature, and look for the best possible way. Look for features with the same functionality but different name. For example, add to favorites might be save post in some apps, or add to wish list in another app, right? But what the essence of the feature is the same. So you can learn from their positioning, their placement, their screenshots. So you take screenshots of the relevant screens and put them together. Include any model windows like pop-ups or confirmation screens. These are very important. We usually miss this in our requirement documentation, but these smaller pop-ups that come up, the windows that pop up, all of those things can also be taken as screenshots and documented in your document. So screenshot both trigger, button, link, and result. Note how many taps and clicks are required. Identify what information is shown at each step. Record any micro interactions, animations, and feedback. You can download a tool which records your activity on your phone, like captures the screen activity and creates like a video out of it. If you want, I can give you a name of this tool. Just hold on, I'll just share one of the names. Yeah, screen recorder. Simple name. So the app name is Screen Recorder. So you can download the screen recorder in your app, and whichever app you want to kind of document or some small interaction you want to document. So for example, you clicked on something and it collapsed, right? Or you clicked on something and there was a small pop-up, and you want to document the animation, this micro animation, so that you can include this in your product. You can capture it through screen recorder and show it to your tech team. So pattern analysis, once you have all the screenshots in one PPT or a Word document or anywhere you're comfortable putting those documents together, putting those screenshots, I would recommend a PPT that you can share. So a Google slide deck would be better, because then you can add comments there. You can that's very flexible. You can share it with multiple people can comment and agree, disagree on certain things. So there are visual patterns that you can discover, colors to be used, what buttons are typically, where are they placed, how important information is highlighted. You can observe interaction patterns. How do apps handle confirmation steps, for example? So you'll always see 1, 2, 3, 4 at the top telling you, this is the path you're on. What feedback do users get when actions get complete? This is important. How complex are the flows broken into? How complex flows are broken into smaller steps or simpler steps. What language, what error state handling, all of that. So all of these things can be, and this is a document for your reference. So you can always come back to this when you're making your visual reference guide for your MVP. You can come back to this document and see if you've managed to cover all of these points. Right? Create a feature matrix. You can ignore this for now. You've already done this in the last exercise where you've created must have, good to have, advanced, all of that. So I hope this small module helped you understand a little bit about UX, but mostly about how to create your own visual reference guide for your tech team. Okay. I'll see you in the next module.